Good morning. So yesterday got super crazy, and I apologize that I'm just now getting this live for day 3 out. So stay tuned for day 4's live later today. This one's going to be really short. I could talk about poop for a long time, but there's just a few main things we need to cover, and then you can always research more on your own for your specific issues, and I'm here to answer questions. If I don't know the answer, I will figure it out. But this is just kind of to bring more awareness to that activity that should be happening every day for you. It's weird because a lot of people don't talk about poop, but it's actually very, very important in determining your overall health, which starts in your guts, right? So if you don't go every day, we definitely need to take some steps towards making that happen. But just real quick, we'll talk about like the purpose of pooping is to, eliminate waste and toxins from your body. It's very important to poop several times a day. You think about your frequency. If you don't go every day, you've got those toxins and that waste that's sitting in your large intestine. So we've covered a little bit about how that can lead to leaky gut syndrome, where the toxins just keep building up inside the intestinal wall, and eventually they'll start leaking through and going into the rest of your body. So obviously it's weird to talk about, but the frequency of your poops really do matter. You should be going several times a day, especially if you're eating several times a day. You may only have like one big one and some small ones, but here's the things to look for. The frequency, which meaning, should go every day, should go a few times a day. Obviously, everybody's body and digestive tract and the way they eat, all that stuff is different. So, it's just depending on, whatever works best for you. So, like, how many times you go isn't going to be exactly like anybody else. You should not have discomfort. So if you have painful poops, that's an issue. So there shouldn't be discomfort. The size and the shape matter. It should be, pretty well formed, and it should be, you should eliminate plenty, especially if you're eating and drinking plenty. So, obviously, if you're going like just little bits here and there, that could mean that you're not eliminating everything. And then the color should matter. Oh, and as far as the shape too, like some people, it should be all connected, big long ones. And if you having like little like ball pieces, they call it, like they compare it to like rabbit pellets. If you're having like smaller pellets, that can mean you have issues as well. Obviously if it's too mucousy, or obviously you don't want it to be bloody. I'm sure we have plenty of nurses in this group that could weigh in and talk about poop with us a little bit. I know many of us are moms, like I said, and have dealt with plenty of poopy diapers and stuff like that in our lives, but it's a little bit different for kids. Like, obviously, there's different stages of what kids should look like. And I know my daughter, sometimes when she's dehydrated, hers are kind of like in the balled up, little pellets or whatever. So just start paying attention to what your poop looks like, how often you go. And then that way you can take some of this information and see if it's something that you need to work on. Because basically, if you're not going very often, your colon is sluggish, and they just compare a sluggish colon to a toxic colon, because again, all that stuff is sitting waiting to be eliminated in your large intestine, and if it's not coming out frequently, all that stuff is sitting there. The longer it sits there, it has time to ferment and to petrify, and that way it risks being absorbed and all that stuff. So here's what you can do to start improving your poops and see if it's maybe just a lifestyle, something that you're not mastered yet, and it's causing you to have not the best poops. So we want to increase the frequency if you're not going much. We want to make sure that you aren't having trouble going, like as far as comfort. I know for me, I'm going to talk more tomorrow about my experience with the gut health detox that I did a couple weeks ago, and I thought that I was consistent, I was regular, because I did go several times a day, but I wasn't going very much. It was very small, And it wasn't painful, usually, but then I got to see like what my poops are supposed to feel like and it's supposed to look like and all that stuff. And now I'm so glad that I did that detox, because it's gotten me back on track. With continuing like the supplements that I'm on now, I realized that part of the reason I was probably bloated was because I wasn't eliminating properly. So anyway, here are some ways to improve your poops, and obviously there's more that you can research and kind of see, but these are just kind of like some of the main things to think about. Hydration is key, so if you're dehydrated, your poops are not going to be as easy to push out, or they may be not as frequent. So you need to drink at least half of your body weight in ounces every day, but I usually drink a gallon of water a day. So if you weigh 160 pounds, you need to drink at least 80 ounces of water a day. And so that's your minimum, okay? Obviously, don't force yourself. Don't drown yourself. But if you can drink distilled water with pink Himalayan salt added, that's like a great way to drink the most pure water you can. If you have filtered water and you can add some fresh lemon to it, that's really great too. And you can always add like ginger. I add the grated ginger, and you can blend it with water and then pour it in your lemon water. Make a big jug of it if you want to. And then if you add like a splash of cayenne pepper, anything that kind of kickstarts your metabolism kind of gets your digestive tract going a little bit more too. You need to eat plenty of fiber. You need to eat plenty of healthy fats. Now, obviously, the amount of each of those is going to be determined by your body and your needs. But plenty of fiber, plenty of healthy fats. Specific foods like ground flaxseed and, things with magnesium in them. You can even take a magnesium supplement if you want to. Foods with pre and probiotics. Later today is when I'm going to talk about mostly prebiotics and probiotics. So I will cover not just about the supplements, but also about the foods that contain those as well. Because you want to make sure you get plenty of those. And then, doing some sort of gut detox where the supplement regimen is geared towards cleaning you out. That's what I did, and it really, really helped. If you're not active enough. So one of the things I've noticed with exercise is that this is gross, but while I'm working out, like I burp or fart more often, because I'm getting things moving. So I noticed that on days that I don't exercise, I feel more sluggish overall, and it's like things take a little bit longer to move sometimes. This is the case too if you eat more processed foods over clean foods. So obviously eating as clean as much as possible, getting plenty of water, having a good balance of the healthy fats, the fiber, all that stuff. Keeping your stress level low is really important. A lot of people end up getting constipated and backed up and cannot, eliminate that waste if they are overstressed. So, getting in that exercise is a great way to de-stress. Even just doing some yoga or some walking or some deep breathing outside, any ways that you can work on reducing your stress. I'm taking one of these supplements right now that it's actually helped some people get off their anti-anxiety and anti-depression medication. I was lucky that I never had to go that route after our stillbirth from Nora, but I realized after I started taking some of these really clean herbs and started eating cleaner again that, I was kind of more low than I thought I was. And so now I am able to manage my stress level and my happiness so much better. But coffee, that's one of the caffeine's kind of a stimulant, but coffee's probably a good choice as far as caffeine goes for most people, just because you can choose not to add the sugar and the other calories and stuff like that. Some people use a squatty potty. Honestly, if your gut health is in check, and you eat pretty healthy overall, if you do most of these things you need to do to have proper elimination, you don't need a squatty potty. So I used to think that I needed one or, could benefit from one. But one of the reasons those have even become so popular, it's because some people's toilets are just too high and, you definitely need to have your body in the right position, right? But, it's also, if you have everything on track, you shouldn't technically need one, obviously, unless you have some severe digestive tract issues. But so before you go spend the money on a squatty potty, spend the money on trying to get your gut health in order. You should really eliminate between 12 and 14 hours after you eat. So it's really hard to know like what you're eliminating, what food, what meal that came from. So that you can do tests, like you can eat beets, and some activated charcoal. That's an ingredient that's in one of the supplements that you take on the gut detox. But it helps you eliminate it efficiently, and you can kind of see like how long it takes. Your pee and your poo will be pink or red looking if you eat beets. So nobody told me that before I started eating beets for the first time a couple years. Well, I guess it was 6 years ago, maybe, when I did the Ultimate Reset for the first time, and I started eating all these foods that I had never eaten before, and beets were one of them. And I remember after going to the bathroom, I was like, oh my gosh, am I bleeding? And I was like, oh no, I ate beets. So anyway, those are kind of like the main things I wanted to hit on about poop. I mean, there's like so much more you could talk about, but I don't want to gross anybody out any more than they might already be. And you can always look it up for yourself to kind of like see where you are. So in the caption, I'll have some of the things you need to look for, and then some of the ways that you can improve the quality of your poops, which means that your overall gut health is better. So if you have any questions about that, you can let me know. And then later on today, I'll be talking about prebiotics and probiotics. So you guys have a great day.